Now I get to share messages with you. This is one of the fun things I get to do. Is touch a lot of different vibrations and hopefully help people get a more clear idea of the direction they're going in life and how to walk that path more smoothly. So when I come to you, I will ask you if you want a message. I need an explicit yes. So I would never presume I have permission to touch your vibration without your explicit permission. And I do this every time. It drives my wife crazy. Even after 16 years of marriage, she still has to ask for a message, and I will never give her a message without her permission. Even though she's told me 1,000 times, give me a message anytime, but she feels like the shoemaker's kid. Once you say yes, my teachers will talk to your teachers and share with me what everyone would like you to know for your highest and best good. Many times that will include something about the future. If you receive a message about the future, it's given to you so you can either avoid or step around it, or take action to bring it about and experience it. The choice is yours. You have free will. And the way it works is the future casts a shadow before it. And our spirit guides and teachers are very good at being able to read that future. The closer the event, the more difficult it is to change and the more likely it will happen. So if you get a message about something this next week, it's more difficult to change than something that's going to happen in the summer. This is a public venue, which means that more than one person can hear your message, which is an opportunity for those not receiving the message at the time to be able to hear the message while they're not on the hot seat. And what that means is sometimes a message is shared in such a way that more than one person will benefit from it. So if you hear something that rings true, if it feels right, you're welcome to take it, because Spirit's pretty good at being able to craft their messages in such a way that more than one person can benefit. So I think that's all my disclaimers, all the legalese. And Jan, as one of our new people here, would you like, you have the honor of receiving one of the first messages if you would like one.
Yes, please.
Excellent. It's interesting. I've got a field, and the field is, I don't know what kind of grass it is, but it's wintertime and the grass is brown. But on this small yard or small meadow of grass are probably 1,500 or 2,000 birds, and they're little bitty black birds, but they're making a lot of noise. And they are very, very annoying, very distracting, it seems as though it's destructive because there's bird poo everywhere, and it seems like they're just running amok across the field. But all of a sudden, without warning, all of the birds take off and start flying in unison. It seems like it's like this, almost like I've seen a school of fish where one moves one direction and they all go the same way. So these birds all, without warning, take off, and they're flying in formation. It's exquisite, the level of unity and harmony that they're flying together, so many birds and very close together. And it's just like, I'm awestruck by the feeling. And I've got a situation around you which is very similar to this, in that when it's not doing what it's intended, it's very distracting. But when it's working the way it's supposed to do, like, so when the birds are flying and they're just, you're awestruck. And so this is coming from my teacher, Nathan, and Nathan's wanting you to remember that sometimes the cost and the maintenance of things is well worth the experience when it's doing what it's supposed to do. this feels business vocational. It feels like there's some kind of upkeep or some kind of something that's causing a lot of distraction, but the distraction is all worthwhile when it gets going. And I'm going to bless you and leave you with that. And then because I can't connect with your vibration because we're not in person, you get an opportunity to let me know if that landed or to ask me any specific questions about the message.
I think I need to think on it a little bit. I kind of have glimpses of what it could be, but yeah.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
You're welcome. I'm going to change the view right quick so I can, because I forgot to do that. Tomorrow, late tomorrow or early Tuesday, I'll send out a link to a video where you can replay the message, and it's timestamped so you can jump straight to your message. So you don't have to worry about remembering it or anything. So you'll get a recording of it. So thanks for joining us. I hope to see you again. And if you have any questions about it, Jan, you can shoot me an email at terry@spirit360.org. And I usually reply in about a day or so.
Thanks so much.
You're welcome. Thanks for joining us. All right, Robin, would you like a message? All right, so this is coming from Nathan, and Nathan confirms it comes from a teacher around you who is a samurai, hence all the weaponry we've had in some of your messages. And I've got you with an axe, and you're using this axe and you're tossing it at a target, and you're not very good at it. Sometimes you miss the target, sometimes you no grouping whatsoever, but you're diligently doing the work and the practice, but you're not making progress. And the message around this is that sometimes you need some fundamental instruction before you can make progress. And Nathan shows you standing there, and with 2 or 3 simple instructions, your feet position change, your hand position change, and your accuracy improves just with those slight changes. I'm assuming this is talking about your spiritual growth and development and getting some specific instruction on some of the things you want to bring about. But what's interesting is it really seems to be related with your relationship with others and how you interact with them. And it's as though you have to be trained, exquisitely trained, before you're ready to reveal anything that you're doing. And Nathan's reminding you that being a work in progress is okay, that you don't have to be perfect before you reveal anything. And even if you were the best in the world at throwing this axe, some people aren't going to appreciate or understand what you're doing. And I will bless you and leave you with that and see if that landed.
1000%. Yeah. Spot on. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'll bless you and leave that. Ashley, you're next. Would you like a message?
Yes. Thank you.
Do you do much cooking?
Not a lot.
Okay.
Sometimes.
I've got a pot on the stove, and it's the bottom part. This is coming from Tao Chuan Ling. It's the bottom part of a pressure cooker. And you've only been using it as just like a normal pot. You would boil water in and do different stuff. And you're curious why it's got those little areas for the brackets on there, because you've not seen the top. You haven't seen the pressure cooker top. And your curiosity is getting the best of you. So you're starting to do diligence, starting to do research and figure out why you've got this pot with these weird things on the top of it. And you realize that it's probably a good thing if you found the top to this and started to experiment a little bit with the pressure cooker. But in the back of your mind, I've got a great deal of fear. And the fear is coming from like one of those stories you heard from your grandmother's great aunt who told you about the time the pressure cooker exploded and, killed half the family and took out, 2/3 of the state. One of those exaggeration things. So you've got a fearful respect of the pressure cooker, and what Spirit wants you to know, what Tao Chuan Ling wants you to know, is you're very good at figuring out how things work. But the part that he wants you to begin to really explore is your unconscious beliefs that have you not explore everything to its fullest. So in this scenario, you've got the pressure cooker bottom and it works as a really good pot, but you've unconsciously hidden or lost the pressure cooker top because of this story, even though you're really intrigued to see how pressure cookers could work to save you time and energy and do all the wonderful benefits that everyone says about pressure cookers. And he wants you to start examining, Tao Chuan Ling wants you to start examining those beliefs that hold you back from doing specifically two things. One seems interpersonal and one seems vocational that you want to do, but you kind of have this apprehensiveness about. Because once you put your finger on it and you remember the story told by your grandmother's great aunt about the pressure cooker that exploded, then you'll be able to see what's stopping you or delaying you or distracting you from really exploring something that you find really interesting. And again, it's in the realm of interpersonal. One area is realm of interpersonal and the other realm is in the area of vocational. Okay, I'll bless you and leave you that and see if that made any darn sense.
I think it did, yeah, that about beliefs that are holding me back. Is there anything specific about interpersonal or vocational, or is that meant to be broad?
He's not sharing anything specific right now. I would really look at something that you've looked at in the last 6 months or so that you wanted to experience or to bring about, and you kind of feel stuck or you kind of feel limited, and start to apply it there. This is one of those things. It's kind of like that old show, Who's Buried in Grant's Tomb? And you've got an idea who's buried in Grant's tomb, and the answer is really no one's buried in Grant's tomb, but everyone thinks Grant is buried in Grant's tomb, so they start giving you credit for it. So it's one of those things, start to explore it yourself. And I think right now what I'd say is really notice that feeling as you start to look at things to see if you feel holding yourself back a little bit in those beliefs. And then that'll start to point you in the finger, because it feels like it's a simple belief that affects a lot of areas in interpersonal or vocational. So it's kind of like more holistic than specific. Okay.
Sounds good. Thank you very much.
He said I talked way too much on that, and I'll bless you and leave you to that. And Wanda, would you like a message?
Yes.
Yay! You've got all that mastered now. Yay! So let's see what is message there is for you. Okay, I've got you playing solitaire, and there's only 50 cards in the deck. So you're playing solitaire, and you're really frustrated because you're not winning. because there's only 50 cards in the deck. But Nathan wants to remind you that you didn't start playing solitaire to win. You started playing solitaire to pass the time. And he wants you to figure out something new to pass your time, because you're at a place now which is different, where you've got time that's unallocated, and you actually can start doing things that you can win at, that you can start to allow yourself to develop skills at, and no longer just mark time playing solitaire with a deck of cards that only has 50 cards in it. And I will bless you and leave you that and see if that landed and made any sense.
Kind of, sort of.
Excellent.
I'll try.
Excellent. I'll bless you and leave you with that.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. And Tina, would you like a message?
Yes, please.
Okay. I've got broccoli. And this broccoli, the stem on it is probably 8 to 10 inches long. And it's probably about 2.5 inches round. And you look at this whole stem, and it goes up and it goes up and it goes up, and it starts to branch out where the little fun parts of the broccoli is. And there's like 6 little pieces of broccoli on this big honking stem. And at first you look at it and you're kind of upset, because you paid so much for this broccoli and it's got so little florets or whatever they're called and so much stem. So you kind of feel ripped off. But what's interesting is you have a resourcefulness to you, and you have a way of making lemonade out of lemons. And you go online and you find all these uses for a lot of broccoli stems. And actually, in the process, you find 2 things you like more than just the little flowerets. So if you are facing a situation, and this feels something very personal to you, where you're kind of feeling ripped off, where you got too much broccoli stalk and not enough of the fun little broccoli flowers, really get resourceful in how you can use what you've got too much of that doesn't seem desirable, because your resourcefulness and your ability to adapt and turn lemons into lemonade will save the day and really have you create something useful out of something that doesn't seem to be very useful at all. And again, this is very much in a very personal realm. And I will bless you and leave you that and see if that landed.
I think so.
Well, you have a
I
question?
think so. I think I say that thing about the lip. And can I get a little more clarity?
The best way to get clarity is ask me something specific.
No, I think I'm going to have to think on this one.
Okay. Well, don't overthink it. It's simply it really allow yourself just to realize that something seems unfair, something feels like you may be getting ripped off, but there's plenty of resources there if you get creative on how to turn something that does not look like a resource into a resource.
Got it. Okay.
All right, I'll bless you and leave you with that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And Marsha, would you like a message? So I've got you on a beach, and on this beach is a big blanket, and it looks like probably a queen-size blanket. And under the blanket are, looks like about 6 or 8 of those kind of bamboo rolly-uppy things you kind of roll out, kind of bamboo mats. And what's interesting on this big blanket, I've got you in one corner, sitting peacefully, reading a book and sipping, it looks like iced tea, while there's all kinds of other activity going on the rest of the blanket. But the problem is there's so much other activity on the rest of the blanket, it kind of keeps on messing up your little peaceful corner of the earth. So you keep on having to adjust, and when you adjust, the blanket kind of slides on that bamboo thing below you, and you can't really get things situated. And the whole purpose of this message is okay. So this is coming from Tao Chuan Ling. He says, sometimes you just have to take your chair, leave the blanket, and prop up your umbrella someplace else so you can set up the situation to meet your needs. And I will bless you and leave you with that and see if that landed.
I think it does. I need to think on it a little bit, but it seems like it's telling me to separate from all that and to find my own meditation space. So I think I got it.
I think you did. All right, I'll bless you and leave you with that.
Socorro?
Hi, Socorro. Would you like a message?
Yes, please.
Excellent. Do you do baking and a lot of cooking?
Yes.
Okay.
Once in a while.
I've got you making bread, and you've got like 30 loaves of bread to make. And I don't know if you've ever made 30 loaves of bread, but that's some work. And as you're making the loaves, you're about halfway through, and you're starting to get a little bit bored. Because you're making these loaves of bread for a group of people, and you want them all to be the same, and you all want to be the same size. You want them to cook the same. You want them to be pretty uniform, kind of like they're coming from a factory. So you're getting a little bit bored, and you decide you're going to make a little, like a Pillsbury Doughboy loaf of bread. And so you're cutting off the pieces, and you're making this Pillsbury Doughboy loaf of bread. But you start to feel guilty about doing this little thing for yourself. And so my teacher, Tao Chuan Ling, is a Chinese priest, and he's saying to you that you do so much for others so often, and you very rarely do anything for you. And he wants you to become very conscious of the fact that many times when you do things for yourself, you feel guilty about it. And he wants you to start to find a different way to think about it when you do a little something for yourself. And, it's kind of like our meditation we did today and our healing. If we don't take care of ourselves, we certainly can't take care of others. And it seems like I've got 3 different people that seem to be very reliant on you and your generosity and your love and your contributions. So it's okay to take a hot bath every now and then to make yourself a special little loaf of bread, a little treat, and make sure that you're taken care of so you can continue the work taking care of others. And he wants you to really find a way to do that without feeling bad about it, and allow yourself to really enjoy the little pleasures that you can create for yourself that you so richly deserve. And I will bless you and leave you with that. And I ask you whether or not that landed for you, or if you had any questions I can help make it more clear.
I used to take care of
Hmm.
She just passed.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
So I guess that's where I, used to get of myself. Excuse my getting emotional. And well, I have to think of me, but it's kind of hard because I'm so used to having her.
Yeah. I think that's one of the burdens of sensitive people, is that it's really hard to make that shift. And but ponder that for a little bit. And I'm glad you found us. I hope you find us again. You're welcome here. And we'll make sure we give you a little TLC every time you show up.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, my dear. Take care. I bless you and leave you with it. All right, Claire, you're next. Would you like a message?
Yes, please.
There you are. All right, Nathan steps very close to me and he shows me some writing you did at the beginning of last year, the beginning of 2020. And he wants you to go revisit some of that. It seemed like there were two things that were kind of starting to show up in your vibration that kind of got lost in all the distractions of last year. And he wants you to revisit those things. They're not big, they're not major, they're not like significant life altering. But for you and a couple of things that you're dealing with and are about to start dealing with, revisiting that thinking and allowing yourself to ponder some of the things that you were in your space at the beginning of 2020 will help you process a couple of the things that are going to show back up in 2021. And I will bless you and leave you with that and see if that landed, if you have any questions.
I think I'll just file that and take a look at some of my writing.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Excellent. You're welcome. And a reminder, I will be sending an email out to everyone tomorrow with a link to these messages so you can watch the recording. So you don't have to worry about taking copious notes or anything. You can watch it again. So I will bless you and leave you with that. And Savannah, you're next. Would you like a message?
Yes, please.
So I've got an entity. The reason I'm smiling is I haven't had him around me in a while, and he's just started showing up recently again. I call him Mr. Wizard. He kind of looks like Merlin, kind of a cross between Merlin and Gandalf. And he floats above my head. So he's like, if he was 2 feet above my head, that's about where this Merlin Gandalf looking guy is standing. So he's sharing a message with you. And he wants you to start to become grounded in the reality of how to make things happen. So grounded in the reality of how to make things happen. And what he means by that is, in our talk today, we really looked at the 3 R's, right meditation, right thought, right action. And you're just now opening the door to the meditation. You've always been very thoughtful and concerned and diligent in your due diligence. But he wants you to begin to do your thinking after your meditation, so you start to see things from a more grounded perspective that is independent of your beliefs. And once you see things from a more grounded perspective, independent of your beliefs, you will start to see ways to take actions in a slightly different way that will bring about the results you want. And the last thing he wants me to share is he wants you to realize, he wants you to realize that magical thinking is indeed a thing, but it doesn't hold a candle to magical action. And the results you want will happen once you begin to bring magic into your actions, which happens with spiritually inspired thinking. And by spiritually, I don't mean spirit from outside. I mean your intuitive knowing, your gut feeling here. So I will bless you and leave you that and see if that landed, if you have any questions.
I will start to do that and reflect on it. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'll bless you and leave you with that. And we've got a phone number ending in 1027. Is that Judy?
Yeah.
Judy, would
Terry, that's me.
would you like a message?
Yes, please.
Excellent.
Yes, please. Thank you.
I've got you with a small plot, a small garden plot. And this garden plot has been planted the same way, it looks like probably 15 or 20 years. So the corn goes here, the peas go here, the tomatoes go here. So the plot is well planned. And it's like every square inch of this plot has been perfectly evolved over time to get the maximum yield, the maximum everything. And this message is coming from Tao Chuan Ling, and Tao Chuan Ling has you considering changing up the plot. Not because you're wanting different stuff, but because it's time to change things, because the earth and the dirt and the plot need, crop rotation. And because the last few years you haven't been getting the same results. So you keep on doing the same work, but the results are going down. So that everything's getting a little bit tired. And the way you beat tired dirt is you rotate the crops. And the way you beat a tired life is you get yourself out of the rut. And so it's time for you to really consider just a new start, replanning, rethinking, starting from scratch, and get out of the rut that you've been in for a while. Because once you get out of the rut and you have to work out different brain cells in different parts of your head, then that old feeling of excitement and enthusiasm will show back up instead of the same old, same old. And I will bless you and leave you that and see if that landed.
Yes, thank you so much.
You're welcome. I'll bless you and leave you that.
Thank you, Terry.
And Socorro, would you like a message? I've got your video on. Oh, there you are. Yay. So, okay. Do you know what baklava is?
Yes.
So I've got you making baklava. So you've got the phyllo dough, you've got the honey, you've got the nuts, and you've got a couple of different spices. And as you're making this baklava, it's almost meditative because it's not complicated, but it's very intricate. And you're getting into the intricacy, and it's kind of refreshing. It's kind of calming. You're seeing progress as you go. And as you're going through this whole process, you're adding a lot of love into the process by virtue of the fact that you're very meditative in what you're doing. The part, though, that you don't have control over, and this is the part that the message is about, is sometimes when people eat the baklava, they just gobble it down like a dog eating treats, and they don't taste it, and they don't show the love, they don't appreciate what the work that went into it. And the message is, the work you do is sufficient unto itself for what you do. And then as soon as you've completed the work, you bless others and you leave them with however they're going to receive it, knowing that you did the very best you could do. It's a very difficult thing for sensitive people, especially people who are healers, to deal with. The fact that you put so much love and attention into something and it doesn't seem to be appreciated. It is being appreciated, just not in the way you appreciate things. This has to do very specifically with you and a close personal relationship. And I will bless you and leave you with that and see if that landed, if you have any questions.
Yes, that definitely landed. And of course, not everybody appreciates things the same way, and that's something I have to learn. And I think I'm starting to, see things differently now.
Excellent.
And appreciate the people in my life no matter what, no matter how they appreciate things.
That's a hard one to learn. All right, my dear.
Yeah,
Well, I bless you and leave you with that, and I'm glad you joined us.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And Bethany, you're next. Would you like a message?
Yes, please.
Excellent. Okay, this is coming from Nathan. And I've got a shelf in a pantry, and on this shelf in the pantry looks like 48 cans of tomato soup. And I don't know if you like tomato soup or not. If you don't, that's a lot of soup. If you do, that's a lot of soup. And the message on this is there is a level of abundance around you, which is being mistaken with monotony. And sometimes people feel like you've got to have variety to have abundance. But if you think about money and abundance, it's all the same color. It's different denominations, but it's even all the same size. So the message is moving forward between now and going into Easter. Between now and Easter, to really reflect on the areas of life where you have abundance, even though the abundance is kind of getting old, like eating tomato soup every day for lunch. Because it's there. It's just recognizing it, appreciating it, and starting the process between now and going into Easter to start figuring out what you want to replace all of this abundance with, because it seems like you're going to have several choices coming up about how you're going to restock the shelves with your abundance. And if you come at it from a place of prosperity instead of a place of monotony, you'll make some very interesting choices which will bring about several, the word he wants me to use is he wants me to use shifts in how you see things going into the summer. And I'll bless you and leave you that and see that made any darn sense, because that's the weirdest message I've had about tomato soup ever.
Yes. I think so. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'll bless you and leave you with that. And Jim, would you like a message?
Please.
Okay. I'm going to ask you to mute again because there's a little bit of background noise, and then you can unmute again when we're... Thank you. you can shake your head on this, but were you ever in the military? Yeah. I've got a situation around you where so this is coming from Tao Chuan Ling. And Tao Chuan Ling is reminding you of falling back to the level of training that you have. And there are certain things you learned in the military which you don't have to think about. It's just the way you do things because the training was so profound at the time. You're coming into a situation, and he's showing me going into the summer. So sometime between now and, it's like after Memorial Day, but before the end of the summer. So sometime in the summer, you're going to come into a situation where you will want to have some different tricks and some different training to handle the situation. And it's like life has been pointing you in this direction for a while, and you've been thinking about doing the training, but you haven't done the training, especially to the point where it kind of comes back to second nature for you. So for me, meditation is second nature. And there's certain things for you that are second nature. We need to expand a couple of new things that you've been considering so that between now and the next 3-4 months, you really start to fall back on that way of thinking, that way of perceiving, that way of understanding as second nature. And because you've got several things that are going to happen, bam, 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 in a row. And you're going to want to be able to have that level of training where you don't have to think before you act. And that's what I'm supposed to tell you, and I will bless you and leave you with that and see if that landed.
I appreciate that very much. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. God bless you.
God bless you too.
And Albert, would you like a message, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so NASA guy comes right in here, like boom. And NASA guy has a NASA girl that he's responsible for training. And he is traditional, old school NASA guy before when there were only NASA guys, and he's not happy about having a NASA girl to train. And there was a lot of, when he was a brand new NASA guy, there were a lot of things that he was subjected to that's not appropriate to subject a NASA girl to. And he knows that, but he's not happy about it because it's not the way he was trained, and that he feels like there's something missing if you don't get trained that way. And there's a circumstance in your life where you're being, I don't know if someone's new coming into your life or just showed up, and the way they approach things just doesn't feel right. And the way you learned how to do things is not the way that they will learn, or the best way that they will learn how to do things. This feels very much to do with your daughter. And
Which one? Younger or older?
The younger. Yeah, very younger. And what is being communicated is allow yourself to figure out a way to communicate what you learned in modern, in the new days instead of the old days. Okay, thank you. And what he showed me was when I learned how to swim, I got tossed in the water and said, swim to me. That's not acceptable these days. So there's other ways that you have to be more gentle and kind and considerate while you train people. And there's a couple of things coming up that are going to require some training. And your way of doing things isn't going to work, mainly because the times have changed. And he wants you to start thinking through how you can explain things to get the job done, but not the way you were trained. And I will bless you and leave you with that. Did that land at all?
Yes, matter of fact, this younger daughter's birthday was yesterday.
Oh, okay.
And we've been estranged for 10 years. And so the message seems to relate to how I'm going to overcome this estrangement. In the not in my way, but like NASA guy says, some other way.
Excellent.
Find another way.
Yeah. So listen. This is from me. This is my intuition. This isn't from Touchling. Is she on social media at all?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's probably the way to reach out and start to reconnect a little bit.
You mean like email?
No, like Facebook or Instagram or something like that.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Old dog, new tricks.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. I'll bless you and leave you that. And Hanna, would you like a message? Okay. All right. I've got a big, this is coming from Nathan. I've got a big yin and yang symbol. And he's got you walking right down the middle between the yin and the yang. I've got a situation around you. This feels health related. It feels well-being related. And there's part of you that needs to be very, very kind and gentle, but there's also part of you that needs to be very rigorous and strong. So the yang side, the white side, is strong, and you've got to do a couple of things to break the patterns and break the cycles that you're in. And on the yin side, the softer side, it's start doing the things that will break the patterns that you're in, but with a gentleness to it. So sometimes when we decide we're going to do something, and if we don't do it right, we start to be very harsh with ourselves. So the yang side is decide to do something and start to do it. The yin side is to be very gentle with yourself if it doesn't go the way you think it should, or if you miss something. So if I decide I'm going to walk 5 miles a day, that's very yang. And if I only can walk 2 miles, be gentle with yourself and acknowledge you walked 2 instead of being harsh with yourself that you didn't walk the full 5. But I really need you to get very consciously committed to several life changes that you know you want to do, and start to do them, but with a very gentle part of your nature, to allow yourself to do them. Reward the doingness more than the completingness at first, because there's a level of building up and capacity and stamina that you have to build up before you start getting the results you want. And it's not going to be fun. It's going to be very unfun until it gets to be fun. And Christopher is showing me, I guess when you started playing pickleball, it was fun enough for you to get through the hard part. So he wants you to address these concerns and changes more like you're learning to play pickleball than if you're trying to hire someone at the gym to whip you into shape. So I will bless you and leave you with that and see if that landed.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So now I decided to go skiing with my younger daughter who is in Lake Tahoe. So I want to be strong. So that's why. Very good message.
Excellent.
I'm not sure if it's my age, it's okay. I used to be a good skier when I was young.
Well, yeah, I'll bless you and leave you with that.
Okay.
Have fun. All right, Lisa, would you like a message?
Yes, please, Jerry.
I've got you, it looks like it's in the bottom of a closet, but it could be just a dark cabinet. And you come out with this bag, and this bag is like old. It's a paper bag. It's kind of tattered. It looks like an old grocery bag. And inside this, you find like a couple of hundred sticks of incense. And they're well wrapped, they're well preserved. They have all of their original fragrance to them, but there's no labels on them. And so you really don't have any idea what's inside any of the packages. You just see the incense, and you can kind of smell the plastic wrap around them, and you can kind of get a sense of it, but you can't really, because they're so well wrapped, you can't really smell through them because they're well preserved. And in this incense, as you're looking at it, you're trying to figure out a way to find the ones you like without getting any of the ones you don't like. And it's kind of like, when you get that box of chocolates and you never really know, you want all the caramels and you don't want any of the ones with nuts or something like that. And this message is coming from Nathan, and this is about your options you've got around you, and it feels very much in the area of personal growth, personal health, and personal wellness. He says the only way you're going to be able to know is to open it up, see if it's what you want. If it is, use it. If it's not, wrap it back up and gift it out to someone else, because there's several things you're considering. And some of them you have a very strong sense that will work, but you'll never know until you open the package. And once you open the package, immediately you will get a sense of if it will work, if it's the right thing. If it is, use it. If it's not, pay it forward. And I will bless you and leave you with that and see if that makes any darn sense. Do you like incense?
Yes, Jerry, I do.
Okay, that make any sense for you?
Yes, it does.
Excellent. I will bless you and leave you. Go ahead.
I said thank you so much.
You're welcome. I'll bless you and leave you that. I think we got everybody. All right. I don't see anyone manically reaching for their unmute button. So I think that's everything. So I'm going to put us back into grid view so we can set our intention and close the service. So take a deep breath, and as you take a deep breath, get grounded in something you want to achieve during this next week. What do you want to be true next Sunday that's not true now? Pick one thing. And as you pick that one thing, I want you to imagine that it's happened. And as you hold that space in your mind's eye that you've accomplished it, I want you to reach out with your left hand and lean over to Lefty and say, Lefty, hold my hand. For me, it's Nathan. Then reach out with your right hand and lean over and say, Righty, hold my right hand. For me, it's Tao Chuan Ling. Now you've got two people who love you unconditionally holding your hands. Experience their vibration. Experience their love. And as we connect with our spirit guides and teachers, I invite our spirit guides and teachers to reach out across time and space to connect us with everyone else who is here now, that we create a spirit unity circle, that we connect. And as we reach this place of harmony, notice the energy flowing in through your right hand and out through your left hand as we connect across time and space in harmony in this virtual circle. and allow yourself to be present to the love that is Spirit, that is our fellowship, that each one of us has permission to be exactly who we are and who we are not. And as you take a deep breath, remember what it is you wanted to have accomplished. What do you want to bring about this week? And I want you to experience it as though it's already happened. And knowing that it's already happened, how does it feel to show up here next week, the first Sunday in February, having accomplished that? Do you feel happy? Do you feel relieved? Do you feel vindicated? Do you feel complete, accomplished? Whatever that feeling is you have, express it as a way of being. I am happy. I am accomplished. I am vindicated. I am complete. And that's your intent. That's your intention, your context for the week. Every thought, every action happens inside of that beingness. So if you're being happy that it's over, all week you're going to be happy. And I invite our spirit guides and teachers to open our eyes that we may see our next step, our ears that we may truly hear what we need to know, our minds that we may understand exactly how to accomplish what we want to bring about. But most importantly of all, open our hearts that we may give and receive love freely, not only to ourselves, but to those we encounter on our journey during this next week. For indeed that is the highest commandment. And as you feel and get connected with your spirit guides and teachers and their commitment to being here with us, allow yourself to know that it's so. And we complete this service in this circle by together saying, and so it is. And as we complete the circle, acknowledge your spirit guides and teachers and allow them to let go of your hands and come back to here and now. And I want to say goodbye. I want to acknowledge and thank you all for being here and being part of this community and all of your love and support. And we will see you next week. Take good care, everyone. You'll get some emails from me about the class on Tuesday and the circle on Wednesday. And I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
You're welcome.